What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Jets Report. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, we got some big-time news on the 2025 NFL schedule for your New York Jets, as one game has already been released, and it's going to be an international game. So we'll break down that news for you guys to start off today's show. And then also, we have another awesome Aaron Glenn story. He was talking about his relationship with Dan Campbell and Jamison Williams. It is sweet, so stay tuned to the second half of today's show to find out what that is. But before we do so, shout out to all the real ones that have hit that subscribe button over the last couple of days. We were about 300 subs away from 6K yesterday, and now you guys cut that in half. So I really do appreciate it. I know it's a small thing, but it really does go a far way here on YouTube and helping us grow this Jets YouTube channel. So if you guys have not already, hit that subscribe button today, and maybe we can pick up 140 new subscribers off today's show and hit 6,000 subs. So hit that subscribe button today, and don't miss a thing around your New York Jets. So the international games were released for the 2025 NFL season, and the New York Jets are back in London, taking on the Denver Broncos, a little bit of a revenge game for GM Darren Muji and also wide receiver Josh Reynolds. But in the Friday game in Brazil, will be the Chiefs taking on the Chargers. Then we got the Vikings taking on the Steelers in Dublin. Vikings staying across the pond for back-to-back weeks, taking on the Cleveland Browns in London. But then the Jets, like I was saying, week 6, will be taking on the Denver Broncos. And, you know, I'm kind of joking when I say this, but also kind of not. I think this is game of the year for Woody Johnson. Like, if you had to ask Woody behind closed doors and been like, hey, if you had to pick one game on the schedule that you can guarantee a win for this season, I promise you he would say the Denver Broncos in London. Number one, Woody, he's got a bunch of friends over there. And also, we saw kind of the ramifications of what happened when the Jets lost to the Vikings last season. Robert Saleh was fired the next day. So clearly, Woody values these games across the pond very, very highly. And I'm sure this is game of the year for him. But maybe ask yourself, well, why, is this great news around the Jets schedule? Because we don't fully know where a lot of these games, will they be prime time? Will they be maybe get a Saturday game? I think it is pretty certain that the Jets will have around 8 to 10 noon games this season. And I think that is great news for the Jets because Aaron Glenn was talking about it. He wants to have a quiet offseason with this football team, and I'm sure he would love to have a quiet regular season where, only the eyeballs that are on the New York Jets is that football team and their fans. And when you're on the national spotlight, you're in prime time every single week. Everybody has something to say about your football team. And if the Jets have a couple bad primetime games, there could be a lot of self-doubt that sets in with a couple of these, big-time players on the roster. So I think noon games are a great thing for the New York Jets, but also Nick Faria had an interesting article connecting this first year for Aaron Glenn to actually the first year Rex Ryan was the Jets head coach, saying this. In 2009, the first year of the Rex Ryan era with the Jets, New York had 8 1 p.m. starts. They had 5 games in the 4 p.m. slot, with one of those games being on the West Coast in Oakland. They only had 2 primetime slots before being flexed on the final week of the season, needing a victory to get into the playoffs. By and large, though, the Jets lived on 1 o'clock that season. A similar situation could be on the doorstep for Glenn's team this year. New York will need to provide a lot if they want to be considered a playoff team. Once they actually show they're capable of that, then their matchups this season can be flexed to better times. And, my bold prediction here, and I don't even think it's that bold. I think the Jets are going to have 3 primetime games because maybe they have one of the divisional games as a primetime slot, like maybe against the Bills or, the Dolphins. I don't know if they would do that for the Patriots, but I don't think those would be primetime games. Definitely don't think the Cleveland Browns. Probably the one I would guarantee for a Sunday night game would be the Pittsburgh Steelers if they, obviously end up signing Aaron Rodgers, that whole revenge game there. How sweet would it be also if Justin Fields would beat Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers after they decided to move off him? That would be awesome. But even the next set of games, I don't really think these have any chance to be a primetime game. Falcons, Panthers, obviously Broncos isn't. Cowboys maybe just because of the Dallas brand and how big the Jets are. But I think maybe one of their home games will be primetime. And then their road opponents, not too sure. Like Bills, Dolphins, Patriots, maybe like we were saying. Ravens, Bengals, possibly. But I would also doubt that. That screams 1 o'clock start in my eyes. And also you got the Saints, Buccaneers, and Jags. I don't think those are going to be primetime games at all. So I would probably count it as 2 or 3 primetime games for the Jets. Probably only 2, but we'll have to wait and see. But I ask you guys this. Which game are you most excited for Let me know that matchup down below in the comments section. I got to go with the Steelers game. I think that's going to be awesome. Seeing Justin Fields versus Aaron Rodgers, Jets, Steelers, going to be a ton of storylines in that one. So I'm most fired up about that. But you guys let me know, which game are you most excited for? All right, we got more positive Aaron Glenn buzz to talk about. I swear, anytime I go on the internet and I just search up Aaron Glenn's name, there is some positive article about him just, being a badass and just him, how he carries himself. It's truly top of the line here. But let's just dive into it. So Aaron Glenn was talking about his relationship with Dan Campbell and giving him a lot of credit for setting him up to where he is right now, saying, I give a lot of credit, man, to Dan Campbell for putting me in positions to be a head coach for the Lions in certain situations. And for him putting me in the front of the room for him asking my advice on how practice should go. So it really was a seamless transition for me to script practice. It was a seamless transition for me to be in front of the team. So all of those things he's done may have actually prepared me to be in this position. So I'll give him a lot of credit for that. And, I remember it was Glazer. He was talking about just the Jets, and he was saying, take their under on everything, wins, Fields' stats, like yada, yada, yada. He was just ripping the Jets, and he was calling them the Lions B team. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. Like, the 2024 Lions, we're probably going to look back on that team, and they're going to be one of the biggest what-ifs in NFL history. Like, their defense looked like a Big 12 defense the second half of the year with all the injuries they had piled up. And their coaching staff of Dan Campbell, Aaron Glenn, Ben Johnson, like, what if Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn work out? And we're looking at that coaching staff as one of the best that has ever came together in recent memory in the NFL. So I don't think that's a bad thing if you are, the Lions B team from last season. But also Aaron Glenn, this was awesome. He was talking about Jameson Williams, and he said, I think I've said this before. Every morning at 7:30 a.m., J-Mo was in my office, and we would sit there and talk. And why is that so cool to me? Because obviously Aaron Glenn, he was a defensive coordinator for the Lions. He had no reason to meet with Jameson Williams. But I'm sure J-Mo just wanted a guy to talk to if he was going through, anything in his personal life. I'm sure Aaron Glenn's a great guy to talk about it with. And I think Aaron Glenn, he is a football coach, not just a smart defensive mind, where I can make the argument, is Ben Johnson a football coach or is he just a smart offensive mind? I think that is guaranteed that Aaron Glenn is a good football coach on both sides of the field. He cares about guys on offense just as much as he cares about his guys on defense. Now, obviously, he will probably have some natural bias to the guys defensively like Sauce and Quinnen Williams, but it wouldn't shock me if, him and Garrett Wilson, they have a great relationship. Or him and obviously Justin Fields, they have a great relationship. I'm sure these reports will get out there, and it's just all about keeping your players happy, keeping your players locked in. I think Aaron Glenn will instill that culture with the New York Jets. But let's show him some love to round out today's show, as he is a culture changer here for the New York Jets. Type those AGs, type his initials down below in the comments section, and show your new New York Jets head coach some love. Also, friendly reminder, hit that subscribe button on your way out. Don't miss a thing around your New York Jets this entire offseason. See y'all next time. As always, go Jets.